Good Friday evening. It is June the 30th, 2017, the last day of June, the last weekly weather briefing, and it is hard to believe that we are about to enter into the month of July. This means that we are halfway through the year of 2017, and that means that we only have so much more to go until wintertime, my favorite season, and that is also a lot of fun to track when it comes to winter type systems. So I'm already about to start forecasting for this upcoming winter here in about a week or so. But until then, we still have summer to get through right now, and with that, we have showers and thunderstorms that are moving through at the moment. I also did want to mention that the reason why we are doing this weekly weather briefing now instead of tomorrow on Saturday is because of these showers and thunderstorms that are in our vicinity thanks to this cold front that is off to our north and west, and it is sparking some lift up in the atmosphere, and that is also sparking showers and thunderstorms in turn. And so we could, in the end up with an inch or two of rain in some isolated locations, depending on how this all organizes. Right now, I'm going with a quarter inch or less for the entire region, but you never know if someone walks away with an inch or two because of that cold front producing some showers and thunderstorms, and they could always train and be slow to move. We have had some pretty strong winds at the surface today, so we do have some low-level shear to work with, and that is going to mean that we have a couple intense thunderstorms that might form, and those we would have to watch very closely. The HRRR model has been back and forth all day on a complex of thunderstorms forming along the cold front somewhere in central Missouri tonight and moving to our south and east. Also, it has been showing thunderstorms forming in this area, and then those two would be merging and then moving into our region. But the problem is nothing is even forming in those two areas right now. This complex of storms that is dying off and weakening as of this recording in northwestern Arkansas is helping to bring the energy levels in the atmosphere down. But meanwhile, we have sunshine that has been over a good chunk of Missouri for a good amount of the day, and that is also going to help put those energy levels into the increasing values. And so if we see that, we could see some thunderstorms form because of those energy values, but really it's not it's not the energy that's going to spark the thunderstorms, it's that lift. Once we get the thunderstorms, they can feed off of that energy. So we got to get thunderstorm development first before we can begin to talk about those thunderstorms even making their way into our neck of the woods. We'll take a closer look at that here in just a minute, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and look at the weather for the upcoming week because we do have a lot to look at, especially for your 4th of July holiday and plans. Once we get into tomorrow morning, you can tell the GFS is picking up on that complex of thunderstorms that I'm very skeptical on if that will form or not. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, on Saturday afternoon, I think that cold front will finally have cleared our region, and that will take the showers and thunderstorms that form along it with it. Once we get into Sunday, I think that we might see a pop-up afternoon shower thunderstorm or two, but it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary, just a normal summertime thunderstorm that could pop up in the heat of the day, and then those would die off by Sunday evening. Once we get into Monday and Tuesday, we're beginning to watch a little bit of thunderstorm development off to our northwest, and this is what could spark MCSs. MCSs are mesoscale convective systems. That is what MCS stands for, and they often form in the summertime months off to our northwest. If we get some upper level northwest flow kick in, those things can move toward the southeast as they usually do. Very hard to track, especially 24 hours in advance. They're almost as hard to track as winter type systems and very big severe weather events. And so this is something that we're going to have to watch very closely, something I can't give you a lot of detail on this far in advance, but just know that there is the potential for thunderstorms to be forming off to our northwest that could form into complexes of thunderstorms that we call MCSs, and they could in turn move to the southeast and hit our region by the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame of next week. So there is going to be thunderstorm chances during that time frame, but right now, as of Friday, June the 30th, I cannot nail down the details on each one of those chances of showers and thunderstorms. So just know the overall forecast, there is a chance of showers and thunderstorms during those time frames next week. Once we get into the middle of the week, we begin to see those complexes mainly move off to our east. We might see some afternoon showers and thunderstorms form, just pop-up heat-of-the-day storms, nothing out of the ordinary. Once we get into the end of next week, into the beginning of next weekend, it still looks like we're going to stay fairly dry, although the GFS does show a couple of showers forming. There is going to be high pressure in place in that same time frame, a lot of high pressure close to our region. So I think that we should be looking at a dry weekend next weekend, but still, this is 7-8 days in advance, and it's hard for me to give you a confident answer on the forecast for that time frame. If we look at the dew points over the next couple of hours, you can tell that they're pretty high up there, and this is going to be an ingredient ahead of that cold front that is going to help feed on those thunderstorms, but we have to get those thunderstorms to form first. And right now, like I've already mentioned, I'm very skeptical on if that happens or not. I was more confident on thunderstorms forming tonight yesterday rather than I was today. That confidence is now lowered because the HRRR model has now backed off of that, and so has the NAM 3KM model. I'll show you the HRRR model here in the next slide, but I want to walk you through the dew points right now. Once we get into 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, those dew points are still hot and muggy out there, so this muggy, oppressive air, summertime air, is not going to be going away anytime soon. Even though that cold front will be moving through sometime tomorrow evening, it's not going to take a lot of those moisture, those high moisture content values with it. I'll show you the cold front placement here in a couple of slides, but you would think that the cold front would take temperatures down and it would also be taking the humidity down, but it's really not going to be going any direction. It might even go up a little bit once we get into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday around the 4th of July holiday. And then once we get into Sunday, you begin to see those dew points again rising again. Very high dew points are being forecasted by the GFS and have been forecasted by the GFS for the Sunday evening time frame. So a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, so this means that those thunderstorms have a lot of juice to work with. So it will be no problem for the thunderstorms trying to feed off of energy and moisture in the atmosphere. It's just getting those storms to form right now is the hard part to do, especially with this cold front. The 19Z run of the HRRR model shows those afternoon showers and thunderstorms forming in the region. We'll be moving out of the area, but we don't have a lot to deal with in the way of thunderstorm activity this afternoon, Friday afternoon. Once we get into the overnight hours, that's when things begin to turn a little bit more interesting off to our west and southwest. You begin to see that area of sunshine that I pointed out to you of thunderstorms forming, and then you begin to see more thunderstorm development forming in this area. This is the area that I feel confident about storms forming because they will be a lot closer to the cold front and there will be more lift in that area. This area I'm a little bit skeptical about. If nothing forms in this area, then we probably won't be seeing anything in the way of rain or thunderstorms overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. And if they all form down here, then they would be continuing to move off to the east-southeast along with that cold front. But once these storms begin to fire up and get going, they will begin to strengthen. But something the HRRR model shows is these not really gaining a lot of strength and not moving a whole lot, just kind of washing out in the area that they form in. And if that happens, then those thunderstorms won't make it into our region either. So there is a few ingredients in the atmosphere that are pushing against the fact that these could move into our area. There are some ingredients that are pushing them towards our region, and those ingredients, I'm afraid, are being beat by the ones that are going against the rain chances for our area. Once we get into late tonight, and then early on Saturday morning, we might see a couple of storms right ahead of that cold front that fire up, or they might be weakening from the overnight thunderstorms that be moving out of southwest Missouri, northwest Arkansas, northeast Oklahoma, southeast Kansas. If those hold together, they would be weakening by the time they make it into our region, and this would be post pre-dawn hours Saturday morning. This would be mid-morning and then early afternoon on Saturday instead of the overnight hours tonight when many of us would be sleeping. Let's look at the cold front and where the placement of it will be. You can tell the National Weather Service has it drawn here on 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, still off to our northwest. And by the time we go even 12 hours later onto 6 p.m. on Sunday, rather 6 p.m. on Saturday, the cold front hasn't moved a whole lot, but the thunderstorm and shower, but that means that the shower and thunderstorm chances won't be moving placement a whole lot either. They will be still in our region, in our vicinity tomorrow evening, ahead of that cold front. Once it clears the region on Sunday, this would be 6 a.m. Sunday morning, it looks like it finally will take the majority of that showers and thunderstorms off to the south and east with it. But it will be meandering around our region for most of the day on Saturday, so you can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm just about any time during the day on Saturday, but more so Saturday morning and afternoon rather than the evening and overnight hours. If we look at the temperatures over the next 10 days, at least over the next week, those temperatures behind that cold front going to be getting even warmer than they were ahead of the cold front, mainly because we will be seeing more sunshine behind that cold front than we were ahead of it. Had to deal with a lot of clouds today and yesterday. On Monday, you can tell that we're beginning to see those temperatures still staying pretty hot. This would be also dependent on where we see those showers and thunderstorms associated with those MCSs that I mentioned earlier in the video, where they'll track and what time of the day they move into the region, if they even move into the region, will be highly dependent on those temperatures because of the cloud cover and precipitation. If we see the MCSs move through during the day, temperatures likely wouldn't make it out of the the low to mid 80s, but if we see them move through overnight and we see some sunshine and a mix of sun and clouds during the day, then temperatures would easily pop into the low to mid 90s. This would also be accompanied with very high moisture values in the atmosphere because of those MCSs either passing into our region or nearby. There will be a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Going past the 7-day mark and into next weekend, temperatures still look to remain hot, with just chances daily of afternoon showers and thunderstorms pop up heat of the day over the next week. It shows that mainly over the next 7 days, around 1 to 2 inches, maybe a little bit more in areas that see more in the way of training. This is mainly not going to be associated with tonight, but mainly with those MCSs that could be passing close to or into our region around the beginning of next week. So I'm mad that I don't have a real confident, not really mad, but upset that I don't have a confident answer for many of your 4th of July plans. But just keep in mind, keep those radars on your phone handy so that way you know if you need to move your any outdoor plans to the indoors because of showers and thunderstorms. But I do not have a confident answer as of now on the 4th of July forecast. Just kind of keep checking back on my Twitter page at JacobWoodsWX to make sure and follow me so that way you can keep a close eye on that thunderstorm forecast for the next couple of days into the beginning of next week, so that way you are updated and aware on what you need to do with any of those outdoor or indoor plans for the 4th of July holiday. So I hope you have a fantastic 4th of July and a fantastic week. We'll see you right back here on next week's Weekly Weather Briefing.